Okay, let's unpack this. Think about celery for a second. Super common, right? In your kitchen, probably. You slice it, you snack on it. Feels, well, pretty ordinary.
Absolutely, just part of the background noise of food, almost.
But how much do we really know about it? Beyond, the crunch.
That's such a great point. And that's where looking through different lenses, different systems gets so interesting. Things we think are simple often aren't.
Exactly. And today, our lens is homeopathy. We're going to dive into a classic text, William Boericke's Materia Medica.
Right.
And look specifically at what it says about Apium graveolens.
Which is just the fancy name for common celery.
Right. Common celery.
And a Materia Medica, just for context, it's basically this huge compilation based on provings. So healthy folks take a substance, like celery extract, and they note everything they feel. Any symptom, big or small.
Okay, so our mission here is to see what specific picture Boericke's text paints for celery using those details.
Exactly. Pulling out the unique profile.
So what's the first thing that jumps out? How does the source characterize celery overall?
Well, right away it mentions celery containing a soporific active principle.
Soporific.
Yeah.
Like sleep-inducing.
Yeah, tends to make you sleepy, which isn't the first thing you think of with celery usually.
Not at all. And based on those provings, what key symptoms did it supposedly produce?
The text lists things like obstinate retention of urine. So trouble peeing, also throbbing headaches, and heartburn.
Heartburn from celery. Wow. Okay, that is unexpected.
Definitely. And it also notes some physical swelling.
Swelling where?
Throat, face, and hands. And it mentions rheumatic pain too, specifically neck and sacrum.
Oh, and growing pains, interestingly.
Growing pains. Okay, let's get more specific. What about the mind or head symptoms? What did the provings turn up there?
It's a bit mixed. Feeling depressed, but also energetic. And the sort of feeling of fidgets.
Energetic, but depressed and fidgety. Okay.
And difficulty sleeping is noted, but specifically from thinking. An overactive mind keeping you awake. Oh, okay. I think many of us know that feeling. And those headaches, any specifics?
Yes, headaches described as being better eating, which is fascinating.
Why fascinating?
Because in homeopathy, these little details, what makes something better or worse, the modalities are super important for finding the right remedy match.
Gotcha.
It also gets really precise about eye symptoms, like eyeballs feeling sunken, general itching, and this one is incredibly specific. Itching and smarting in inner canthus of left eye.
The inner corner of the left eye. That level of detail is something else.
It really is.
Okay, moving down. Abdomen. Female system, what is the source list there?
Abdomen gets soreness, sharp sticking pains, described as if stool was coming on. Also, diarrhea.
Okay.
And the specific pain pattern.
Right.
Sharp pains starting low on the left side, the iliac region, and then moving across to the right. Nausea is mentioned too, getting worse with the pains.
And for the female system?
Sharp sticking pains in the ovarian regions, both sides. But again, modalities are key. The left-sided pain is noted as better bending over by lying on left side with legs flexed.
So posture helps that specific pain.
Exactly. It also mentions dysmenorrhea, painful periods with sharp, short pains, also better flexing the legs, and tender nipples.
And then there's that really quirky symptom mentioned here.
Ah, yes, you can't miss this one. Hungry for apples.
Hungry for apples. Just out of the blue, a craving for apples. Why include something like that? It seems so random.
Well, that's kind of the core idea, right? These Materia Medicas aren't just about common complaints. They capture the unique, sometimes really peculiar symptoms that paint a specific picture of the substance.
So the apple craving helps distinguish the Apium graveolens picture.
Precisely. If a patient presents with a whole cluster of symptoms and also has this weird specific craving for apples, it helps the practitioner zero in. It's about the totality of symptoms, including the strange ones.
Right. It really highlights that focus on individual, sometimes counterintuitive details.
Mm-hmm.
What about respiratory symptoms? or skin?
Respiratory. A tickling dry cough. And this really striking sensation. Intense constriction over sternum, withdrawing feeling through to back on lying down.
Oof, that sounds unpleasant. Constriction in the chest.
Yeah. Throat swelling and dyspnea, difficulty breathing are also listed. For skin, you get itching blotches, a burning, creeping sensation, profuse discharge from certain ulcers, and urticaria hives, but hives that come with shuddering.
Shuddering with hives.
Okay.
And finally, what about sleep? Tying back to that soporific idea.
Well, despite the soporific principle mentioned initially, the symptom picture includes being unrefreshed from sleep and general sleeplessness. A specific waking time is noted, often between 1 to 3 a.m.
Okay, so waking in the middle of the night.
Yes. And interestingly, it says the person is not fatigued from loss of sleep, which is another one of those odd contradictions.
Not tired even when sleepless.
And one more modality detail. Eating does not help sleep.
Right. So the source also mentions dosage, just briefly.
Yeah, it gives the typical range used in homeopathy for this substance as the 1st to 30th potency. That just refers to the specific dilution method.
Okay, so stepping back from all these details, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? Taking something as mundane as celery and finding this incredibly complex, detailed, sometimes contradictory, and often surprising profile attributed to it in this text.
It really is. It shows you the level of intricate observation, collecting all these very specific individual symptoms and modalities like better eating or hungry for apples. That's how knowledge gets built within this particular system.
It definitely gives you a new perspective on that celery stick, maybe sitting in your veggie drawer right now.
Absolutely. And maybe it leaves you wondering how many other everyday things around us might have equally complex, unexpected stories to tell if we just looked at them through a different lens, a different system of knowledge.